In today's video, we're going to talk about media queries. Media queries help to make a website a lot more responsive, so your content can fit properly in many other devices out there. On the right here, I prepared us a box. What I have around that is a container that is simulating a mobile device. If we wanted to select a specific device over here, we can click up top and then pick a device out of the list over here. But for us, we'll just use the responsive container over here. If you're unsure of how I got to the screen over here, or you just want to follow along, you can easily access this feature from the browser you're currently using. The first way to get there is by pressing a combination of 3 keys. That will be Ctrl Shift and I, and a box will pop up over here. Then you should look for this mobile icon over here. If you click on this, it should open up the responsive mode that I'm in right now as well. If for whatever reason it's not working for you, what you can also do is right click anywhere on the page that you're on. So you're going to right click and then look for inspect or inspect element, and that should open up the same box that we have over here. So to start using media queries, you basically need to go into your style sheet. Mine is called main.css. Then over here, you need to use a keyword known as @media. Now after this, we need to define what kind of media we are trying to create this for. So you can use the all value here, and this will mean that all types of media should follow this. Or you can use print over here, which should match documents that are viewed in the print preview. There is also screen, which most, if not all, websites are typically going to be seen from a screen. And finally, the speech, which is matched for devices that read the content audibly. But if you don't use any values over here, then your media query will default to all. From here, we will need to define a media feature. We need to first include these brackets, and in here we would use values like the width or height of a device, resolution, or orientation. There are a lot more, but you'll mainly be using these. So in these brackets, we can write something like max width, and then maybe we can give something like 600 pixels, and then we use curly brackets. This is simply what you need to get started with media queries. Now what this means exactly over here is that if our screen is 600 pixels or less, then use the styles that are defined in here. So for our first example, we will target our box over here on the right, and then we can change any property we would like to. In our case, I'll just target it to width, and then I'll give it to 200 pixels. I will save this, and what I want you to notice is that our width over here for our container is 700 pixels. So if I went to the width over here and slowly dragged it down so that it's at 600 or less, you should see that this box will change to 200 pixels. So I'll quickly do that. And you see our box changes to 200 pixels once we're below 600. That's basically what the main idea of media queries are. We can target other things as well. Like in our box over here, we can target the font size, and over here we can make it 10 pixels. If I save this, you should notice that the size gets smaller. If our screen's width over here got bigger than 600, then the styles we've defined over here won't be applied. If you wanted to instead target devices that are from 600 pixels and bigger, then you would change this from max width to minimum width. And if we save that, now the style should apply once we're above 600, and if I go below 600, the styles disappear. Basically, that just means that any screen width from 600 pixels and bigger, then these styles should apply. I'll just change this back to max width, and then I'll talk about a few more properties. Now before I move on, I do want to make note of something, and this is how CSS applies styles in its style sheets. So CSS follows the styles you define for your elements from the top to bottom, meaning that if you have the same element being targeted and change the same property, then CSS would use the last defined one, which is the one here at the bottom, as you can see for our box. So if you want to see this more visually so you can see what I mean, right now you can see that our box is at 200 pixels since it's using this media query over here. But if we took our selector over here, our box, and put it underneath here and save that, then that media query doesn't apply anymore, because what CSS does, it goes from the top to bottom, and since you're targeting the same property over here, it uses the last one that you can see over here. I'll just revert that back, and then we can talk about CSS operators. CSS media queries also have operators. We use these operators if we want to give more rules to our media queries. The keyword @media over here is an operator itself, as it says that if the screen width is met over here, then apply these rules. So in our case, we can further use an operator known as AND over here, and then we can include another media feature. So we can target the orientation, and over here we'll say landscape. Now if I save this, you can tell that our styles over here are no longer applied to the box. What's happening here is that these styles over here will only trigger once these two rules have been met. So these styles will only apply if our screen width is 600 or less, and if our orientation is landscape. And the way it identifies this is if our height is less than our width. So right now we're at 594, and if we bring our heights to something less than that, we should trigger about now. And as you can see, we've met the condition of less than 600, and we've met the condition of orientation landscape to get these styles to be applied on this box. The last operator I'll go through is known as OR, and the way you show the OR operator is just by separating these two media features by a comma. So we'll take this AND away, and we just put a comma there. This means that if our screen is the max width of 600 pixels or less, or if our orientation is landscape, then these styles should apply to our box. So right now we're meeting the condition of less than 600. So if I push this a bit higher, we still have these styles applied because the orientation is landscape. But once I leave the orientation and then go back to less than 600, our box should take these styles again. I think that's about it when it comes to using media queries in CSS. I do hope you guys found this video to be quite informative and helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments and I'll answer them as best as I can. With that, I'll see you guys in the next one.